but you want to cut down on the other arms of government, the judiciary and the legislature. That's why you see the judiciary cannot come frontally or directly frontally with the executive, but the parliament can do.
Yeah, they can. They are politicians.
Yes, that's why you see whatever Speaker Bagbin said also inured to the benefit of the judiciary. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, it's a growing concern that we should all be about that. We are still borrowing.
Yeah.
And see, I keep on telling you, Senator, listen, it's about throwing back what people said in the past and their current position on issues or their current commission or omission. What has become moving from taxation to production? Any serious person knows that, listen, if we really, it's theoretical, if we really industrialize our economy, you will make money.
Okay, so Martin, you're making a point. Unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties here. We'll see how we can ride through a bit for Martin to at least finish talking about that, and maybe we can play the voice note, and then before it becomes something else. So Eric, please get me the voice note phone. Martin, you're making a point. Yeah.
So now the point is about the mistrust from the point of the minority or some watchers of the economy. Don't forget, during the COVID, Parliament gave approval for the executive to secure a loan from the Bank of Ghana, 10 billion Ghana cedis, you recall. But when the issues came up, it has gotten to almost 22 billion Ghana cedis. When the finance minister was being vetted, that one came up. And I'm surprised at the minority then. That the governor of the central bank, I've given you a data. Okay, they are the custodian. Okay, of how much the central government has spent, and you're rather allowing the minister, who you don't believe in the first place, to be giving you accurate figures on the economy, to tell you that as far as it's concerned, it's only 10 billion. But you have the document from the Bank of Ghana depicting between 20 to 22 billion cedis. So if Parliament has given an order that you spend this amount of money, you went ahead to spend more. You see, I'm astonished about the development of this whole thing. Now, because if we can't be right or we can't be spot on the actual figures in the economy, then what are we doing? Because if you don't have accurate data, what purposely can you be planning for? Because the data will give you a direction as to the steps you should take. So if day in and day out, data comes out, data is churned out, but there is problem with that, what are we talking about? So it's just about like what the IMF said, that they've given IMF different figure, and they're giving the locals here, that's a parliament, to another figure. So the question is that what is being hidden from the people? Because if you, common sense will tell you, if you really want to go strictly by the quantum of loans being secured, then the debt to GDP ratio should be skyrocketing, but it's rather coming down. But the excuse that will be given by government there is that, listen, the borrowing has been stretched to a long period of time. But whether you like it or not, whether it's 10 years, 15 years amortization or what have you, definitely it's the state that will be coughing up these monies to pay. And I'm saying, listen, what if you are borrowing? Let the borrowing pay off those debts. Okay? Now, what is happening in the financial sector now? Banks are no more giving loans to the private sector. They are competing with what we call government securities. That's T-bills and bonds. So the private sector is being crowded out. They don't have access to the funds. So how can the engine of this economy wind up? Now the banks are also buying T-bills. Also, you and I know that, listen, government is continuum. So whether this current government owes you, the next government comes what? Will pay you. So they are not investing in the private sector. They're rather going in for T-bills at the expense. So how can, after COVID, okay, how can we revitalize the economy whilst banks, commercial banks, are not giving loans to the private sector, but rather competing with individuals on government securities? You see the dilemma now? You see the dilemma now that the banks are facing? Because it's very cheap. Now listen, 91-day treasury bill. It's over around 13-14%. Okay? And the banks, they feel safe to buy government securities than giving those money to the private sector. You recall Kufuor's time when even people were begged to come for loans. Okay? And I'm saying, listen, when this current administration came, they said they'll make it possible for the private sector to have access to loans. But what are we saying now? And it's a worrying situation that if the private sector are not getting access to the funds. Don't forget already we have ADB, which was set up just to support Agric. But when you see what does ADB do? Everyone is departing from its core mandate. National Investment Bank. Okay, what are they doing? So Sarah, it's a worrying situation that we should, because I expect that a government that is pro private sector, so to speak, we know the MPP government to be pro private sector. For you to be stifling access to loans by the private sector, then that's an irony. Okay, because we don't expect government to be doing so. Now there is a huge or high appetite for government to be borrowing through the various bonds and the T-bills. Because what they do, that they go in borrow, and you use the borrowing, the process from that borrowing to pay or to retard certain loans that you've secured in the past. So we need to have a clear picture as to the correct information on the economy. Because as I gave you an instance about the minority versus the finance minister, whose report will you believe? Whose account will you believe? Now the Bank of Ghana has given you the actual data. You are rather allowing the finance minister to tell you
which one you should
take. So it's serious. Where we are heading to is serious. It's very, very serious. But if you don't take care, we can't even be paying public sector workers. But if there is no serious production, that's why, listen, if we have the blueprint, okay, if we have the performance-based document as to the various factories that were set up under the 1D 1F, then we are good to go. We'll be making an informed argument as to whether we are breaking even or not. But now, where are those factories? What is the management structure of those factories? But that of the Casapreco, I know that Casapreco was there since time over 20 years. So when you come and you give in a rebate or something, will you bring that factory under 1D, 1F. So what specifically has government done? Because it's true that if we are able to industrialize this economy, we are good to go. We keep on complaining about the depreciation of the city. Because what do? We're doing a lot of imports than exports. And definitely, as somebody said, the city will always chase the dollar. You understand? The city will always chase the dollar. And the dollar is running like Usain Bolt. The dollar is running like Usain Bolt. So that's the point. So enough of the rhetorics. We know what to do. Because most of these managers of the economy, they sat in the same school with these white folks. And they know what to do. Let's try and give meaning to the industrialization drive that we talk about, that this government talk about. Where are the factories? What exactly are they doing? Okay, they will be making a help, because in Europe, what do they need? These frozen food that are coming. You see, so that the fact of the situation is that a lot of these businesses importing those Vietnamese and these Taiwanese, this Singaporean rice, a lot of these people are party people. These businesses are attached to party. They belong to party. So you can't say that, listen, you want to stop the importation of rice. And when you look at the amount of money and foreign currency that we spend on doing this importation, why won't always the city depreciate? Okay, these frozen foods can be on the high seas for months, and we never took into consideration the health impact of this dead chicken that comes here. You see, according to the GAU, that's the General Agricultural Workers Union, with the necessary input, they can produce to meet the local demand. What does it take? How many years when you are planting rice? How many years does it take for you to harvest it? And so listen, let's give meaning to our utterances. Let's give meaning to our utterances. The planting for food and job creation. What is the status now? The planting for food and job creation. What is the status now? The people the school feeding people, they're complaining about food, the quality of the food. So what I've read is that, listen, we are not putting our money where our mouth is. We are not putting our money where our mouth is. Because if you really want to give meaning to what we're talking about trying to move this economy from transaction to production, within 4 years, you could have made a headway. But because we don't really believe in what I want to say, we only believe in trying to woo votes or electoral support. That's why I keep on doing all those things. But if you want to meet the experts, okay, if you want to meet those industry players, those actors in that sector, we can be making a headway. But this day, just trying this old way of doing things, just going to the capital market and trying to secure funds to produce whatever I do here, we need to take a closer look at it. And I'm saying that, listen, some African countries have given us the way that it's possible that we can move from taxation to production. Where are all those things that we're talking about? So let's see real, meaning to what government have been saying. But if this is the way we are going to go, by the end of the year or by the end of next year, would have reached 80% of debt to GDP, which will be still worrying to our finances. Because as we speak now, there is nothing serious in terms of production to support the various industries. Considering the fact that COVID-2 has brought it already, we were sleeping. And now, because of COVID, we are snoring in addition to the sleep. So when it comes 22, what exactly do? We turn between the devil and the deep blue sea. Will government master courage cut down on the expenses? All those monies that are going to these party boys and this, we can use the money to do something right. Leon, you were talking about
the 2.8 million.
Yes, and also the donation by the VIP. We understand maybe you can be having, a closer ties with maybe the Kokoko Foundation. Yeah. But you see, the point is that you need to tidy your home first before you go out there to tidy someone's place. But if you've not corrected your home, why should you have the audacity to go there. How much? 300,000 Ghana cedis. Recently, we're talking about just a simple bed. Okay, just a simple bed. People are there's the traditional hospitals, what I mean by traditional hospitals, I mean the public hospitals. How are they faring? This 300,000, we are not saying, like Nancy said, when you are doing these things, it inures to the benefit of the private sector, especially the multinationals. That is part of their what they call corporate social initiatives or responsibility. It will give them a brand, I mean, a brighter brand, so to speak. But if a vice president went and did the donation, who are we pleasing? Who are we pleasing? As we're saying, can't we find any public health center across this country for us to be doing the donation? But because of the media hype, you want to what? Do the for what? For a private initiative. I've not seen that before. It's quite surprising. I've not seen that before. That the whole, because whatever he does, he's doing it in the name of Ghana.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We could have. The report didn't say whether it's personal money or not. But even if it is personal money, that's immaterial. In the sense that once where you are now, yeah, we cater for your everything. So it is presumed that all the monies that you'll be spending is monies given to you by the state. So I expect you that, listen, the state has given you money, do something good to the state by helping those vulnerable kids in the public health centers.
But is that not also helping?
No, you see, that's something you don't get the argument.
Because if you buy an incubator, the incubator usually goes to they donate the incubators to the public hospital.
No, why are you going around in circles? You're not going around in circles, so you are going around in circles. I know what circles that are. You are going around, yes. So why? I can walk to Kaneshi to do my own thing. But he said, "Oh, let me sit down, because this guy is going to Kaneshi. Let me give him the thing to be given to the people." What are you talking about? I'm saying that enough of the publicity. Let's get down to the basics. Let's get down to the basics. We are talking about here the medical laboratory scientists at what CAF. Look at the reason for their demonstration. That 2 doctors were seconded there. That's the reason, and now it has compelled the private authorities to cash in on,
put in the position of leadership.
Yes, to cash in on it. So I'm saying that, listen, there are a lot of things that we can do already. The public sector is not rich. We've not reached our apogee. Okay, so if as a vice president or as any government official you want to do donation, it could have been appropriate for you to have done the donation to even Akawe. You know Akawe? Yeah. Le Prosero.
Yeah.
There are serious issues there that we can tackle. Okay, this grandstanding for me is a no. That's the point. I see it as a political grandstanding. That's what is that. I see that's political grandstanding. But when people started doing the donation, it's a private led thing, private sector led thing. So expect the private sector to be doing that.
Okay.
But the state, there are your health facilities, okay, are in precarious situation, and you ignore them and be doing the donation towards a private thing, and you say that you're telling me that because the same thing the incubators were given to the public sector, so it's the same thing. No, it can't be the same thing. We expect our political leaders to be doling out things to the public sector, not the private sector. At the end of the day, who takes the shine? That's the question. At the end of the day, who takes the shine? So it's good, yeah. It was ABC. Dr. Bawumia donate to Kokoro Foundation. There are people who are doing great things on the quiet, helping our various, especially those in the rural communities, helping our various health centers there. But they are doing it on the quiet.
No politician does anything on the
No, they're doing it. But because of the power of the radio and things, you can just you are buying. So why can't government buy the incubator and put it at Kolebu?
Martin, it's 10:56. Let me just do I'll be back. Don't worry. David in Libya.
Good morning, Radio Good. Your friend David Mikasa Philivia. It's been a long time, but some of us we are monitoring you from afar. Now, Master Minana say, Rasta for me, many omo judgment you why omo ni aje omo ye didi na lawyer ni abrekasa omo ye nya so me ne nya adwen to the extent say wiase no wan hyemra enipa nya bibia obeye o wiase mu aye na woka say obi mfa ni twini Rasta ambra school mimi Rasta man but Rasta na ni Rasta is not your hair, Rasta is your heart. Ati ase obi a Rasta onso so no nyama oyi Rasta twin no guniti so ade abama Ghana youth these days no to wo koma kwan say utim de Rasta ko school a oni Rasta for do beba school mu ho wo de fa say Rasta for do beba school mu ho yemfa no to nchen so oka say because of human rights nti me fa ho die nti yema ne fa Rasta mbo school bi so human rights ni so obesha legacy oba bi human rights ni so obesha legacy abbo school obi kura beka say he doesn't feel good when he wears uniform. Say Misha khaki and whatever. Nti obesha jeans. No what the chain atunu komu. What I say? No share space. No abonaso. And now the boss school and Hoberton because at the end of the day the grade is good. And he qualifies to be in the school. And the abonaso. Not so share jeans. No share chain. At the end of the day we are looking at what he will offer to the country. Say the lawyer na kind. So but Daniel architect. What has architect got to do with Rasta? And the same way, Obisha James no bonus one, no better than doctor. What has that got to do with Obi our bonus? If you do that, system never nyam. Obi so because of person dignity, you want to dye his hair yellow, red, green, blue. Not their best school because at the end of the day, in the grade year, it has nothing to do with his learning ability. Then you end up admitting a lot of rascals in the school. So what I say, intermediate, Oma Rasta kwanya. Or baby because of the chain 29 the both school because of special legacy they are both school everybody obia or the human rights or citizen or see a journey man here what I say and you know you have to think twice about that baby man starting come see ya and starting with baby and gay phone mu utimi ware oba utimi ware moa utimi de ope as I say say hunu say mama yen so mama as I say from David Nkasa Philibia.
David, thank you very much. Gabriel Kwashi.
So that's the domestic debt. Good morning. My name is Gabriel Kwashi Gatri, aka Babyface. Restana, you've already read my message on Facebook. And my second born, which is John Elikem Kwame Gatri, is 2 years today. And I'm wishing him, through your medium, happy birthday today. You see, Akufuado Amamu Argentina Baumia quiet in debt sharing this time around. Mama time, and if you share all the debt in Ghana to everyone will get so and so amount, they did so and so amount. Now we are in about 300 or what? 4 something point something. Oh my God. This is not a joke. This amount of money can build two countries like Ghana. 2 countries, fresh countries. So this amount of money can build fresh countries, 2 fresh countries. But here we are, every time celebrating mediocrity because we are led by mediocres. We are led by mediocres. What they do is mediocrity. What they celebrate is mediocrity. You see them doing things, you ask yourself whether it is true that they have been to school in outside this country. And I've been to school in abroad, so I know how this. I work in back of Ghana before, so I know how. You see, these people. Excuse my language. These people need to go to fire squad and they will shoot them when they are no more alive. We will not even talk about them anymore. But they are still talking rubbish every time, thinking the rest of us we are fools to listen to their trash that they peddle every time. In fact, Ghana, especially Ashanti region. What the on my these hyped criminals that you people have voted for is the reasons why we are all suffering today. But your own will be worse because you call for them and you experience more pepper than some of us because we already know and we knew what they can do and we know what they are, who they are, and in fact what they are, who they are. You make them human being too much.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. Mustafa Inobuasi.
Sananimo, good morning, Martin Sarkibi. Nancy, welcome back. Mpacho, yajun chirika krai chini. Ghana for you to know. Enemy kabibi afaya muse. Yamma yajun emre ya muso. Nenja se de biaye nebe chance penibi. Embrembe jine ni muno tunu nsa wonu botom. Na wo ye G5 G10 cities na wo ye masa yesa amre kwa. Oman betima ye nhihye ema obia aye adwuma ema nyame adoma bosomuso a ono abegine sika na wade ne ho san kuntu adwuma no o kan we ase yebekun kan we wase yebebo yebe o se nyina no eye adwuma na ampenimfo no nhihye ni ye ento oman mu se wo ye YouTube ya osoro obenye adwuma ye nte oye ne ho omo self interest ntuna tambia omo dwune yemma sika mbre ye ne ho na yemma wo mu yankwa atambia ye peso mu yankwa se jima bi ema ye na omotima ye entini nkwase ope kwase jima bi aya na watwe sika bi e da ma obi watwe sika bi da bo journalist bi se omoti foundation bi tino ma ba bigina bon tino mo to the TWS e de ma ye ni timamfo no sa de no sabi mo akunya mukasama obi ati no ma mpinifo na hunse de omudo mane efa so no enye fe ya sema hu de twigina se mo sha seye eba be do biribiru obi be na adwo se mi wuwa na mekọ nti obeye enyema emphasis njema because on yentina wo se ebedi ahon kire musa na se betina se bi yesa masa kiri se akopem se ebekọ ewu nti omuntinki omusanju ni biom. Thank you, Sana.
Thank you. Mustafa Inobuasi, that is Uncle Dangerfield.
Good morning, Radio Gold. Michiwan. Radio Gold is safe in Mekasa Germany or from Uncle Dangerfield. Here, Ghana. Journalists, media for this year, Asan Pemika in there. So one true and win fee plan a what plan when you bow me out. One ankasa was so we're going if you want studio. I sit there. Democracy no one by one way. Media, journalists, one was said Ghana, the catch your own plane. Democracy na Kevin Kabino, one weapon there, one party, and Uncle saying over the Canada. On your MPP party. The MPP party, Miss Obediska, and pimp, one way on ye da. Because Ghana man on your MPP, I'm getting one man. Yes, I don't know what the unfix. Now fix the country no on your robot. Now me catch on one plane, yan by moto bombo, Nihan no Casa no Quabo, or Munya or Gungan. The man don't go for as already one on him, Ubera is in, nem gas or boko, nem mom, so cook about Nyaza. One journalist, and one busy papa. First school as some working, you or your day to Azo, on Yanda some. For Augustins and fancy him. At the saddle. Beside 50s, Abba for you back no post school. Prominent people, Banco saying what you are. Eko Catholica, waju, Eko Methodist waju, Eko Anglican waju. And what was that name praying about? One song, the same to them, was the Rastafi. Rastafon, what about the movie, what I chunk of now, one arguing. Now, me catch one. Teachers and so, we won't have some about one, Master Mikajan. Our ancestors will chase them. Master in Uncle Dangerfield, Germany.
Thank you, Uncle Dangerfield. Daniel in Italy. Okay, I think I have to download Daniel. So let me play from Grandma Abna.
Ebusanfo, my late kakra Grandma Abna, Germany. Bipa mucho Akufo-Addo wakofa ye sika ye nana ye nchirimba no wo boka egu ama ye nchirimba no ba betua na wonu ebusuafo modi sikafo modi Ghana-fo e de ayeye tam na wodi sikafo life Ghana na wodi beye wodi ba bedi wo sikani na wo pese wundi na na wo papa be ye bi ko wo so wo ye bi sa private jet na wo sori a wo tina mu no ye nyina ya ka bom ye bom paye Akufo-Addo ye de ye mpese wo be wu o plane de wo class kura wo because ye pese wo tina se nche wunyi nche me na another so tias we di 115 years me bom paye se Akufo-Addo wo so be nyi a che na wako opposition na dia wo di ye Ghana-fo no e di opponent no mo no yedi bediu he yesika na mo wiewia na mo dia sisi mo dia ye japade atunto ya asase ama omu ho no ye beji nyina ye begu mo adwuma Akufo-Addo wunwu enne wunwu ochina he plane de wo twufam kra wunwu
Grandma Buna. Okay, so this is Alhaji Ibrahim. I think Alhaji Ibrahim sent 2. But I'll play the first one. I don't know which one you want me to play, but I can only play one. So I'll start with the first one.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Radio God. Penye phone na muho de chia obia Alhaji Ibrahim na kasai from London. Bachi Sena Nancy Alkebi Alfirwa Penny Martinson mtiamu nyina yetiemu dabia nyese yentiemu na adaje no na time no so asesa you were 1 hour ahead for Ghana na before no yenyina ye hours no ye the same entina break na ye kono na etimi maye akonya na ya time na ye voice note no as a sitam no nti about and 3 days that was Tuesday when I think it's Tuesday Mr. New voice note but man tiese wabo but nyanka sama hu say Facebook live no na mo problem e wo so nti mesuman ti se wabo no nti anhame eno na me pese me se no repeat na uka assembly dano about ehina na wo pese wo bo ade bi din na adinu ayira awo kutim na ye fe no ehina tama ye mofra no ye maame no mu ehina no na ewo edan no na ya so nsuo na ye ato kona bi de nsuo no gumu a na nsuo no ye papa na ye ni fridge but sa nsuo no is more than fridge na abeno a ye di ye nkwan no ye maame no mu wo mu wo abeno bia adinu a ewo hot se sapon na wo mu di eja ade atu sa sapon so no mu di ehina no akata so abutu so na wisie no akwa ehina no nti wisie no kwa ehina no mu sa no mu abie so no mu di akoto nchen na ya ko nsuo mu ni akwa so nsuo ni adi abebu ni nua so wo sa nsuo mu ma wo ti senti bi na fi ho na se ye sa nsuo no ma no kula na ho no nsuo na on wan kasa ni aji nti ade no a ni refri no na me pese me kai ye frɛ no ahina ye frɛ no ahina.
Thank you, Elijah. I don't know, but Dave, you have... okay, so let me play the second one as 49... is it? 49 seconds.
Good morning, Sana. Pacho, and then 3 days last week, we sent you but Monty Mammo, and you also saw a bank holiday over London, and Tindroma Medma, because I'm doing now, you're busy. 2 or 3 the BA 1 year, Sana Sisa, if you Florentina, yes, Patino Mantini, Antie, and Mantiman Pumura, Lady Marble was not Mammo, and Intina, Masana Asani, and Yellow, Intimate Pese, Mubona, Missumitiese, mambo voice note nti michio na wachi Nancy wabane echiano pa okoye no na ya missing Alhaji Ibrahim Kase Fijibane nti michio mu na pese michie voice note. Assalamu alaikum.
Well, thank you. Would I do just as well? The Chinese children are being taught to build personal apps in primary school. We are busy destroying our future. There's there was one I thought I didn't go through. Sharif Al-Islam says Ghanaians are not angry enough to hit the streets with different types of demonstration, showing anger of bad governance, insecurity. We need to rise against poor healthcare and other related issues affecting citizens. Arise Ghana citizens to defend our constitution mandate. Our democracy is under threat under Nanado 40,000 Ijapa. Okay, thank you. That's Alhaji Ibrahim. So let me go back to Daniel in Italy.
Morning, really good. Sana mechiao no hapana foni na Pastor Daniel. Rafael no sama high court ne kano. Me force pa because enna mikata mbiano. Institution bia ye juma wa Ghana. Wo was skura ana odo rules and regulation baba. So we choose some school ya we na so we na so we. Na wo do desana wo choose school o same menya aggregate 6 to 10 na memra na me se mbeti manya na menya na usaba kache sema memba. Adan ye discipline desana starter wa juvenile level. Sa na oti me chiro JSS wachuro anya sa aggregate nse wodoko achimota na desene education directors na nyina wo hia ma wotumi ko because akola na sore na wontumi train at the juvenile stage na okonya obeyede na watumi train ana me wo Rafael bebre say omunim grade onim nsa say ye believe say obi ya rasta na obi a wonim ko wi ana koyifo antisa me village ya wonkofo bebre omo fredad deseno ya wunu krampa ma indication say dia ya bayi ne teno ba wonti sa ne mpa no wanyi ne trader ti wanyi ne trader na obaka say man ko education ana enti ene de mene mo nyaaju me nyaaju mo fot nyaaju ne secondly no Ghana ene na tam ya meka no there's no institution in Ghana that will hold government accountable because yesika no government etimi ko no kwayi obi antimi mbisa ne say we iska we kwadro sign nti we iska we kwadro sign. There's no institution ti na wopa bia anaga dese wakwayi last me catch am say ye 3 years obi friend mami this so adechi na akofado obi catch na owuso obrimpa catch na say so wanku nimpa ndan obawu a wachi nimpa no wanchi nimpa na kunu na wanchi nam na wo Julius Hasa obetmaye institution by na by desen entimi hulu no accountable enti sa ya constitution say ya fe ni na yenya ni yi anyesa edi ya ho pa second thirdly omuya na ya kase Ghana economics no say COVID-19 na basa no my friend COVID-19 the asibu Ghana economics pa mena me kachiro so we ya obia wa dwin do a oba say COVID-19 we no ababwa Ghana send the whole world because anya COVID-19 we nka exchange rate no nka badis nka dollars ka nam 8 desen ana secondary na buza omukwaji aye desen heritage fund nyina komuni kwenso mbetmaye no ma chuk they were mapim no money be omukwa faskaba nti COVID-19 we ba bie kwen bebre amomo no mo de nyamfaso then omo ye bo ankonfo no mo de nyamfaso aha the whole Italy ubia no hotel Italy ho no se omunya nose mark free anise Canadian nti then omo ye fe omo population akra mingini so mutumi ma every household nose mask na then omo ye na be ya mo se covid ne samba onu kwandodo a nana akufado batu ene ne katene down otena Ghana kakra fe ya pie nkai ni ho covid ne mba onu kwandodo a nana akufado batu especially getting to 2020 campaign ene ade asebu Ghana pa COVID-19 namba nka Ghana ba bia ya ba nka obi antimi mfe ne yankoni madam ase bye bye.
Thank you, Daniel and Edley. So those are my voice notes. For a moment, I even forgot to say voice note. Daniel Rosadofo be saying a good morning to us and watching you live. Kekeli Kemplenam says, okay, Kekeli, I hope it's better now. Would they do our national anthem should be changed to Yenara Assassini, which to me sounds more patriotic. Can be done. It will not be the first to have done so. Abdurrahman, this kind of calculation makes me remember our maths teacher, Mr. Akakbo. I greet to you, sir, wherever you may be. He used to say you have a long way to go. I'll do something on the issue of what the Bank of Ghana wrote. Albert has been giving me some clarification. Albert Wutogbe. On this issue, I posted it on Facebook and drew his attention, and he's giving some clarification as to exactly where the Bank of Ghana may have gotten it wrong. Samuel Kofi Agonyo says good morning, Sana Boachi and Nancy. Please, God bless you people for what you're doing for Mother Ghana. Please help me wish my dear wife Auntie Ama Jane Klu, Madame Dogwache, happy birthday. So a happy birthday to Auntie Ama Jane Klu. I think Madame Dogbache. The way you have written your wife's name there, Samuel Kofi Agonyo. Madame comes after Auntie Ama Jenklu, Madame Dogbache. So it's confusing. So I don't know. So Auntie Ama Jenklu, who is the wife of Samuel Kofi Agonyo, a happy birthday to you. So Ama Jenklu, happy birthday to you, Auntie. From your husband Samuel Kofi Agonyo to you. With the DJ says, Senator, your first caller is wrong on the Rastafarians and with his analysis. With the DJ, go to the UK and tell me if you can see a son of a fetish priest and raffia skirt sitting in class. The caller, I think, just wants to be heard. Dreadlocks are dreadlocks and not anklets, ankle chins. And our Francis is so sad and shameful from the part of the vice president, so he can't see the government hospitals that need help. Hey, Ghana. Kekeli Kemplenam says the lips of the righteous teach many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The rich man's wealth is in his city. The righteous wealth is in his holy place. Rastafari. Fashta fix the country and says Jah will never give the power to a bald head. Around come crucify the dread. Ibrahim Ahmed says my greetings to Samuel. Anyway, he said good morning to Sammy. Kekeli Kemplenam says so they are bribing with their guns, spare parts and money, trying to belittle our integrity now. They say what we know is just what they teach us. And we are so arrogant because every time they can reach us through political strategy and keep us angry. And when you're going to guess, I think Kekeli is singing reggae this morning. I'm reading your reggae tunes and I'm realizing, no, perhaps I'm behind on my reggae. Albert Wutogbe is writing, this is Albert Wutogbe, on the issue of the Bank of Ghana and the this thing they are giving to us. Martin, Albert says that the wedding should have been 70.2% of estimated GDP. The wedding should have been 70.2% of estimated GDP than just GDP in general. The baseline GDP they are using is just an estimate for 2021 and not an actual. If we are using the known actual GDP of the year end 2020 as the baseline, it should have then been 79.47%. It's understandable, though questionable, for a government desperate for cash to resort to such reporting methods to create a bit of fiscal space in order to borrow though. Perhaps we should revert to interest payments or debt servicing to revenue to get the better picture of their sustainability. Fact of all this, despite the method, is we still will be back to close to 80% by the end of the year if the borrowing calendar is anything to go by. And so that's from Albert. Albert is saying that their calculation is being done using the projected debt to GDP ratio. And that's how come the numbers look the way they look, and we are raising the questions we are raising. And he says that at this point in time, what they're doing is very confusing because the money is being borrowed in real time. The projected GDP is just the projected GDP. You may miss the target. Already you are missing your revenue targets. And Albert says that the better measure will be how much are we using to service debt as against the revenue we are generating. So that's Albert's view. So I just wanted to share that with you for some clarity. because once you put out something and there's some clarity comes in, you need to put that clarity across. So the calculation is not wrong, just that the Bank of Ghana is using money borrowed now and measuring against projected GDP that may be missed, and that's the part that the Bank of Ghana needs to watch. That may be missed, might be missed. So projected GDP might be missed. So and also, even if they do 70.2%, Albert is saying, looking at the trajectory of the borrowing we have already done, we could still get back to where we were, even if we meet our GDP targets at the end of the year. So that is some form of education. So we are done for today. 22 minutes past 11 now. Happy birthday to Eli Kemen, to Mr. Kofi Agonyo's wife. Again, he's confused me with the name. Sama Kofi Agonyo. Amajin Klu. Madame Dogbache, happy birthday to you. That's the most confusing name anybody has ever written for me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me say once again, say a good morning to Auntie Maggie, to Doc, and to Auntie Peggy Abnadodu, all the way in the UK. A big thank you to every one of you for joining us this morning with the DJ Eric Yao. Also, a big thank you to Fok Yomeso. It's been a while. A very good morning to you. A good morning to every one of you that listen this morning. Nancy, you said you have a voice note from our friends from Sakumono. Godwin, please draw Nancy's attention to me. She says she has a voice note from our friends from Sakumono. We are close, I'm wrapping up. So the voice note will not come. I thought so that may be a behind the scene note, voice note. Let me just so that should do it for today. Martinson?
Yeah.
Anything to say?
Good morning to Auntie Vero. Good morning to everyone listening.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about the Rastafari thing again and the Honorable Gina Paul's.
Yes.
ExxonMobil.
So what we'll try to do is to understand a bit more about the ExxonMobil thing, because some of those things are a bit more, the way these things work. They're a bit more complicated. If you don't explain it properly, you come and be holding a discussion that nobody will understand. So we need to put it in a language that we understand, then you will also understand, and then we'll all be able to pull along with the conversation. I cannot just read a statement. The whole sector is a different ball game. Is something else altogether, and so we need to understand what we are talking to you about. So tomorrow we will also attempt to get some level of, if we don't get it from Honorable Jinapo, difficult for us to get him on this platform majority of the time. So if we don't get him here, we'll get someone who will explain the issue we are faced with to you. A good morning once again to my good friend Hosak Bamebia Emmanuel Dosu, among several others. Thank you for making time.
I see. You guys got a muscle for it. Life is too short, I know if you waste time. When they up at this, why on not they sleep, make you wake up. Who they call me if you know the party, call me later. If your girlfriend no go, call your side chick, it makes a link up. As I'm on a Samanti buffet, and I will cook your cake. Fine girls, be what she say. On your champagne, you'll go away. Man catch up, crime and permit. Yale party, in the Yichichabia. I'm a Mayala, I'm a damn. On the bottom of the 2:30 in a move, Messayala, I'm a damn. Bialing 247, I'm a Mayala, I'm a damn. Party after party, Messayala, I'm a damn. We move, all move.
Enjoy your life because problem is not the finish. Leave me make I chop life, I no speaking for English. Brother, I know lazy, I work hard for this life. So I go chop on like party jollof, eh. Me and me mademoiselle, yeah. Like Obama and Michelle, yeah. We go they do very well, yeah. We go they chop on me well. champagne just for the belly, yeah. I'm about to make it rain, yeah. Give enemies skin pain. I wanna do this again.